So, Andrea, can you tell us a little bit about the Youth Futures Foundation? Who are you and what do you work on?
Yeah, so the Youth Futures Foundation originated in 2019, end of 2019, pre-pandemic, and it was largely out of the Race Disparity Unit, recognizing huge disparities on employment for young people from an ethnic minority background. So we received an initial large tranche of money to kind of address that, and we addressed that through evidence collation, so putting together really good evidence on what works for young people to improve their outcomes, improve employment outcomes. But then also we fund, so we have a huge grant-making arm that has pushed out a lot of money already. One big flagship program is the Connected Futures Fund, which is looking at systems change on a very local level and systems change and partnerships that need to join up services for young people to benefit and have better outcomes. And these are very marginalized groups within these areas, and it's all over the country, all over England. So that's what we do, that's who we are, and I am part of the evidence generating arm of Youth Futures Foundation in data analysis and economic analysis. And I put together a lot of research with the rest of the research team on how we can better outcomes for young people.
So, what challenges are there around accessing data in the youth employment sector, and how are you hoping we can work together over the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, so part of that evidence generation was putting together a data gaps report for the youth employment group, subgroup on ethnic minorities. And when we did that, we found that the data can be quite poor coverage when looking at not just young people from an ethnic minority background, but all ethnic minorities as a whole. And it can be so poor because they can be in so many different areas. So you could find education data in one place, employment data in one place, and youth justice data in one place. And it's very rarely joined up to one place to find everything and to see outcomes and evidence in one place rather than so many different areas. And this is a discussion in the sector, so I've had discussions with other youth-focused groups that recognize this as a serious problem. It's also a problem not just for us, not understanding our researchers where to find data, but it's a problem for practitioners, those who work day to day with young people on the ground. If they can't even access data that they need to generate evidence they need for more money, for grants, for influencing policy, and also to know where to target their own resources. So the main purpose, I think, for this is to really join up these silos of data into one area, one place over the next 3 to 6 months. So not only can practitioners use the data, but policymakers can use it. Policymakers know where to find the best evidence and data on young people from a marginalized background, from an ethnic minority background, and an income-deprived background, wherever it is, and it's right here. And you can download the data, you can use the data yourself. We are not keeping it for ourselves. We just want to make sure it's open source, open use, because our main remit is to make sure young people have the best chance to get into really good jobs and really good opportunities. And for that, we need to open up our data and put it in one place so everyone can use it.
And you've touched a little bit on this already, but how does this kind of work over the next few months feed into your long-term vision for how data can be used in the sector?
So if I think long-term and I start to get a bit like, ooh, think really long-term, I think being able to build that platform where, one, people know where the platform is, know what they can access on the platform, know what it looks like. It's really easy to use, really accessible, very intuitive, and kind of has what people want. But then in the future, my future goals is to have people, researchers at different universities, researchers using linked data, they can deposit their research. We have an ability to deposit research, deposit data, and then other researchers can go in, log in, download that data, and use it for other research for different universities. And we don't keep the IP. We honestly don't care. We just want to make sure that you're using it in a good way to have positive impact. Because that's what we're really all about at Youth Futures Foundation, is really positive impact. So my really long-term plan is having this almost like data depository as a dashboard where you can go into the dashboard, you see what you can find, and then you also see what gaps we have as a depository, and you just add stuff. And we can automatically start, as an organization, start looking through what's been added and add some insights so other people can use your work and improve our own research as a sector, and again, have positive impact on young people. I also want young people themselves to really be interacting with the dashboard going forward, because it is for them and it's for their lives, and to provide that feedback for us on what we could do better as a sector, and also what the government could do better, and good data for them, because it's describing their lives, and they should have an input on how we describe their lives and how we use information about them.
That's it for questions from me. I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add is that this is an iterative process for us. So if there's any feedback, any insights, especially from data analysts, another thing I would ask that we want to make the code that we use to build this work, to build other analysis, open. So you could download really good code from data analysis. You can download really good code for analysis on education, economics, employment, whatever it is, you can download and use it. That's another part of the long-term plan. And if there's anything else you think would be really useful for this space on data in young people and marginalized backgrounds, please let me know. Another key gap that we have is data on young travelers, and from the traveler community, Roma Gypsy community. The data coverage is very poor in national surveys, but if we know of any good data that exists in throughout the country, to please let us know, and we'd be very happy to host it on the dashboard as well. Thank you.
Thank you.